Everybody knows the NBA's been making plenty of noise with all these blockbuster moves lately, you know what I'm saying? But the crew I'm talking about is a group of former NBA players who come together to host a basketball show where they break down everything happening across the league, from basketball discussions and heated hoop debates to Gil's code and all kinds of strong opinions. They cover pretty much everything, however you want to look at it, you know what I'm saying? And just like the NBA itself is going through a major period of change right now, it looks like this show could be experiencing a few changes of its own, too.
To Gilbert Arenas, presented by Underdog. I'm Brandon Jennings, and I'll be your host this evening.
About a month or two ago, we first started talking about this situation, and in some of the more recent episodes, we went over comments Rashad McCants made while sitting on the couch that suggested there was much more happening behind the scenes than people initially realized. You know what I'm saying? In that same episode, I also covered how Kenyon Martin responded to Rashad's behavior on the couch, accusing him of constantly taking the opposite position just for the sake of doing it. According to Kenyon, it seemed like Rashad was deliberately creating controversy, and everybody saw how that situation eventually played out. Well, the signs have only become harder to overlook since then, you know what I'm saying? At this point, if you've really been following everything, it's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore what's happening. Now we're also hearing comments from Josiah, you understand what I'm saying? And what he had to say makes it sound like this entire operation could be starting to fall apart. You know what I'm saying? Some people aren't appearing anymore, other personalities are suddenly getting more screen time, different faces are taking on new responsibilities, and the whole situation is starting to look pretty unusual. But before we get into all of that, I want to take you back to the moment when things first began getting heated between Rashad and Kenyon. Ever since that exchange they had about a week ago, this story has continued developing and looks like it's building towards something much bigger.
We're fighting tooth and nail for Jaylen Brown.
So that's all the faces and shit what I'm talking and shit for?
Yeah, because you said you applauded him, but you wasn't
Speaking up for him?
speaking up for himself.
We be playing with his name, yeah.
Yeah, because we had a whole thing where y'all niggas was on my neck about that.
What? About what he said? No. So therefore, don't put words in our mouth. What me and Brandon say, I'm glad you jumped out there like a goddamn idiot right now. What me and Brandon was talking about was the choice of words that he chose to use when he said it was his favorite season. That's what the fuck you were trying to defend in here. That's a different conversation. So since you always want to fucking have something to want to be ready to rebuttal about some shit, you're fucking wrong.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
So Brandon, was that not the point we were making?
No.
Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Brandon?
No.
Was it?
No.
Yeah.
He was defending what we said he was right.
No, because you said you can't say what you want to say. Remember
Because
y'all
it's
tried
not
to talk
free
me.
speech. No, we
remember
said
you tried to talk me
the
off a
freedom
square.
of
Because when you
speech
say
is
Remember
not
y'all tried
free.
to talk me off a
narrative.
square.
Freedom of speech is
Remember
not
you tried
free,
to
is what
talk
we
me off a
said.
square, right?
We stated that
It's a full circle moment.
me and Brandon was in his very
Full circle moment. I have a photographic
yes,
memory. I
and
do this
as
shit.
well.
I'm very
We
very
were
good at
saying that we had a problem with you saying that it was your favorite season, the words that you were choosing to use in that moment
And this is
after you won, and that's what Steve. That was the whole.
I said he can say whatever the fuck he wants.
And we said freedom of speech ain't free. And that's when your dumb ass jumped out there like a dummy.
Do all this. Now we applauding.
And that's when you
that
jumped
he
out there.
defended himself.
In this regard, I said he has the right to defend himself. He has proven that he is going to speak up people playing on his name. I applaud him in that regard in this because we're talking about basketball here. We're talking about basketball. So
had the right to defend himself
so
in that
therefore, I'm
conversation
speaking up for
too.
Bobby Marks in this regard because Bobby didn't say it. He said his words are, I like Jaylen Brown. Give me Jaylen Brown on my team any day. I think it's absurd that someone says he's the 7th best player on his team.
Now let's pause for a second and really talk about this, because a lot of the discussion surrounding Jaylen Brown has always seemed a little weird to me. You know what I'm saying? It feels like people aren't always comfortable with players who think for themselves. When somebody speaks openly, questions the status quo, and makes it clear what they will and won't accept, those are usually the players who end up getting criticized or pushed to the side, unless they fit a certain storyline. Because then, suddenly, they're praised as somebody standing up to the system and becoming a voice that everyone should respect. But when a player like Jaylen Brown does those exact same things, he's often portrayed as being difficult to deal with. You feel me? People start calling him a locker room problem, and we've all seen how quickly that type of narrative can spread. Then somebody even came out and claimed he was only the 7th best player on the Boston Celtics. Come on now, there was no way to look at that as anything other than straight up hating. You know what I mean? That's the conversation they're having right here. And like I mentioned earlier, since then, Jaylen Brown has reportedly been traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George, although that doesn't necessarily mean this becomes Jaylen Brown's team. The offense still runs through Joel Embiid, while Tyrese Maxey remains a major part of the core. You know what I'm saying? I can see where Jaylen fits into that roster. On paper, it feels like a pretty balanced exchange between him and Paul George. Personally, I'd probably take Jaylen because he's younger and, at this stage of his career, arguably the more complete player. But when you look at both teams overall, the move still feels more like a lateral adjustment than a major upgrade for either franchise.
Brown is full of shit. There's no reason to say that. There's no reason to say it. There's no reason to say it if you don't feel it. What the fuck? And I'm not going to say some shit. I don't like this.
You say shit all the time. You don't fucking mean.
And I'm going to say this.
You say shit all the time that you don't mean. Just to clickbait a motherfucker. Just to rage bait and get click shit. You say shit all the motherfucking time you don't mean.
No, I don't.
Yes, you did. You said that very scene and said you do.
You were sitting in that exact same spot. You weren't across the couch and you weren't sitting in the chair closer to Joe. You were right there in the same seat you're in now, wearing that long sleeve shirt underneath the jersey, but we'll save that part of the conversation for another time. From that very spot, you basically admitted it yourself. Well, actually, I can't say with complete certainty that you said it right there, because I also remember you talking about it during an appearance on the TFU podcast. That's where you said, man, that's just the role I play on the show. That's not really who I am in real life. Those were your exact words. That's Rashad for you.
You said that very scene and said you do.
I defend myself.
No, you said you said myself. I thought you'd be used to it by now. I come in here, bitch, just click rage bait and clickbait. Yeah, you said that shit.
That was just with you. That was just with you. That's not with everybody.
You say shit all the time that you don't believe.
That's just with you, because you say you're not triggered, all the time and you tell niggas to put their feelings in their pockets.
You say shit all the time.
But then your feelings pour out when I'm triggering.
No, don't, like I said.
All right.
Because you act like
So going back, we both acting like females right now. Because you got in your feelings and you in your feelings right now.
What am I my feelings about? This ain't got shit to do with me.
This got everything to do with what I said before.
No, this ain't got shit to do with
Jaylen Brown.
You're wrong.
Jaylen Brown has the right to.
Now, he does make a valid point that Kenyon has a habit of taking certain situations personally, even when they're relatively minor. We've already covered that whole stuttering situation, and yeah, everybody saw how that ended up playing out. So I'll give him credit for that part. But where his argument starts to lose some of its strength is when he acts like he never admitted to deliberately bringing the Cemetery Larry persona into basically every episode. That's something he's openly acknowledged in the past. In just a moment, we're going to take a look at what could potentially turn out to be his final major appearance on the show before we get into the final part of this footage.
You're wrong.
He just applauded.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
He just applauded.
You're wrong.
Remember this day?
I ain't applaud shit that you say.
Favorite year? He has the right.
He has the right to say that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
year?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
And that was I said he can say what the fuck he wants to say.
Cool, that's cool.
And then you know what they said? No, he can't.
Okay.
No, he can't.
Okay,
Is that what we
wait
said?
a second. They,
No, he can't.
They had just lost 3 home games to Philadelphia,
This
right?
is my favorite season.
Yeah.
All right.
My favorite.
And people had a problem with you saying that.
And I don't give a fuck about nobody else having a problem about what I say.
Cool.
Now, people have a problem with what I'm saying now.
Cool.
Should I still care?
Yeah, cool.
I'm defending myself in the same manner.
Yeah, I'm not even convinced everybody on this panel is making the same argument, because it sounds like they're approaching the situation from completely different directions. But if the point is that Jaylen Brown shouldn't have called that his favorite season because people were always going to take it the wrong way, especially since a big portion of that season was played without Jason Tatum, then honestly, I don't see the issue. What it sounded like Jaylen was saying is that it became his favorite season because for once, he had the chance to lead the team and find out what he could accomplish as the #1 option. There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying that. Now, if somebody wants to twist that into he only called it his favorite because Jason Tatum got injured, he secretly doesn't like Tatum, and he was happy about the injury because it finally gave him the opportunity to prove he was just as good, I just don't buy that. I don't see any real tension between those two. The media has been pushing the Jaylen Brown versus Jason Tatum narrative for years, almost like there's some secret rivalry happening behind the scenes. Personally, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that Jaylen has always been outspoken and willing to say exactly what's on his mind. Meanwhile, Jason Tatum has often been treated like the media's favorite, and that contrast has created plenty of unnecessary storylines. The reality is that Jaylen Brown has already accomplished a lot. He's won a championship, earned a max contract, and put together an impressive resume. I don't think he was ever focused on trying to outdo Jason Tatum or compete with him in that particular way. To me, that rivalry has always felt like something the media created and kept alive. And just like the criticism Jaylen received for calling that his favorite season, I think this is another example of a narrative being pushed by the media. That's really what these guys are debating here. From the way I'm hearing it, Skip and Kenyon seem to believe the criticism Jaylen received was justified because they think he never should have made those comments in the first place. If that's genuinely the argument Kenyon is making, then I'm just not convinced.
People are creating false narratives. This Bobby Marks thing is like, why would you bring this up if this wasn't going to affect my perception and my reputation?
How?
And how you look at me. Since 2016, they've been throwing shots at Jaylen Brown due to him being too intelligent for the space.
You are too educated.
So now here we are. I'm an activist. I've been in the streets with the fucking protesters. I've been really building back. And I got 300 million said I'm going to build Black Wall Street in Boston. Are you serious? So when I go to defend him, he can't say what he wants. You know you can't say what you want. That's all my point was. It just resonates now. It's a full circle moment.
It ain't a full circle.
So does it
dead wrong?
So does it help him?
Does what help?
It didn't. The point we were making didn't help.
Like, does it help you?
Does it help that Bobby Marks is doing this shit right now?
I'm just saying, just answering to like everybody that what they're saying and everything.
100% it helps him. He's liberating other players to be able to speak up for themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty weak argument when you really break it down. Kenyon's point in particular just doesn't seem to hold much weight. Now, Brandon Jennings has always been confident and willing to speak his mind, but I never really viewed him as somebody who was constantly trying to act tough or build his entire image around that. He also wasn't really known for regularly speaking out about social issues or topics like that. As for Kenyon Martin, he wasn't exactly known for being heavily involved in conversations about social issues either, and maybe that's simply because those weren't subjects he wanted to focus on. But if we're talking about players who have never been scared to say exactly what's on their mind, then how can Kenyon Martin not be near the top of that list? Just think about the way Kenyon carried himself during his playing career. Give me one legitimate reason why anything Jaylen Brown said was somehow wrong, or why Jaylen should simply sit there and accept whatever people say about him without defending himself. Going into this episode, I honestly thought Kenyon might have had a legitimate point and that there could have been some real tension developing behind the scenes, but the more I listened to the argument, the less convincing it became. Then Brandon jumped in and basically started questioning whether speaking your mind is even a good thing. But what's the alternative? If standing up for yourself, expressing your beliefs, and speaking on your principles is supposedly the wrong thing to do, then what are you supposed to do instead? Just stay quiet while people say whatever they want about you and never respond? Who actually lives like that? What exactly are these guys trying to argue here?
ESPN niggas create narratives on you when you don't got no voice to speak on your own. Now come out and say, state your source, Bobby. Who told you those analytical things that I was the 7th best player? Who told you that, bro? You just made it up when you said you don't believe it? So you just say, I don't believe it, but...
Hey, same person over here talking about, I got all the receipts on what been said about me. You ain't said nobody name.
I don't have to, because I don't give a fuck about what people say.
But you want other people to do it.
He decided to do it. He's decided to do it.
No, you come on this bitch very calculated.
Rashad is a former basketball player and hot take personality who sits on a panel with other ex-players to talk about and break down the game. Meanwhile, somebody like Bobby Marks or media personalities such as Skip Bayless and Brian Windhorst comes from a completely different professional background. Most of those guys never played basketball professionally. They're journalists, reporters, or analysts by profession. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, they're held to a different standard when it comes to how they present information. When you're working in journalism, there's an expectation that your reporting is built around verified facts and credible sources. You feel me? That doesn't mean journalists are required to reveal every source they use, but they are still expected to follow basic journalistic standards and ethics. So when people try to argue that a journalist has absolutely no responsibility to support the information they're reporting, that argument doesn't really make sense. Again, they don't have to publicly name every source, but that's completely different from saying they can simply repeat anything they hear without reliable sourcing or accountability. Those are two very different things. And it's especially ironic when Mr. Receipts is demanding proof from everybody else, while not always providing receipts for some of the claims he makes himself. Those situations aren't equivalent. At the end of the day, Rashad isn't a journalist, bro.
It's gonna hurt the motherfucker's
I know what's
feelings.
been said about
It's gonna
me.
hurt
I
feelings.
know who said about me.
It's gonna hurt feelings if I do it. It's gonna hurt feelings if I do it.
You don't do it. So you
It's gonna hurt feelings.
You don't do.
It's gonna hurt feelings.
So
if
you
I do
want
it.
other people to do what you don't do.
I've done it. I fought against North Carolina and the NCAA for 10 years.
For no
I
reason.
know what it is.
Yeah, we know.
I know what it is to fight for something and to have everybody not like
So
you.
once again, this is
back.
about you.
Because you back.
So this is about you
No,
and
it's
your
about Jaylen Brown
So why you bring yourself
and
up
people
in
like me, because I'm like him.
So
once
again, it's like so it's about
I'm
you.
like him.
So it's about you.
It's about us.
So it's about you.
It's about us.
So it's about you.
About us.
So it's about you.
Steven, though.
So it's about you.
It's about us.
I thought you said you were little Steven.
I'm little me now. I'm little Skip now.
What do you say, Nick?
I'm little Skip now.
Huh?
I'm little Skip now.
Nick, what do you say, Nick?
I thought you said little Steven.
2 years ago. I was little Steven 2 years ago.
But now you're on Jaylen Brown time.
Yeah.
Right now.
I've been on Jaylen Brown time.
Now you're a little
I've
Skip.
been on Jaylen Brown time. But
So when he- but-
I was the first Jaylen Brown.
So when he beefing with Stephen A. Smith, then who are you then?
I'm Jaylen Brown
Oh.
because I've already spoke out against Stephen A. about the shit that he said, which is why he did a 13-minute video to me. Not anybody else. To me. Twice he's done that.
Man, Shannon just can't seem to stay away from the headlines. Every time something happens, somehow he ends up right in the middle of it. Let me give y'all a little brotherly advice like I always try to do. Once you're a grown man in your 30s or older, calling yourself little somebody probably isn't the best look, unless you're talking about your own father. You feel me? If your dad's name is Steven and people call you Little Steve, that's different. That's showing respect to your pops, and I can understand that. But this dude basically admitted that he used to be Little Stephen A., meaning Stephen A. Smith, the exact person we're talking about. In other words, he was saying that he started off as a younger or smaller version of Stephen A. Now, getting back to the show, that's really where the bigger problem seems to be. There doesn't appear to be a clear direction anymore. It's just a collection of different personalities pulling the show in different directions. From the outside looking in, the whole thing feels somewhat disorganized. And honestly, the warning signs have been there for quite some time. Like I said earlier, I've got one more bonus clip I want to show you because it really makes it seem like things could be starting to fall apart over there. You know what I'm saying? And this next moment comes from what appears to have been Josiah Johnson's final episode on the show.
To wrap up today, but before we do, I just want to send a shout out to Gilbert Arenas Underdog. When we started this show February 2023, we had some super lofty expectations of where we wanted to go. We're able to accomplish those things, becoming the #1 daily sports show in the world, Swaggy, or at least in America. But I want to thank all y'all on this couch, all the men and women that have graced this couch, all our tremendous staff, and all the amazing fans for everything that you guys have done in helping this become the show that it is, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate all y'all, especially.
Thank you. Yes, sir, brother. My God. Yes, sir. My God.
Appreciate you, gentlemen.
My God.
Skip, I'll send you a dap from over that way. Appreciate you as well.
Thank
Shout out to our tremendously talented crew. Shout out to everybody in the chat. This has been another episode of Gil's Arena presented by Underdog. And if I don't see you again on this couch, a good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And you can actually see Josiah Johnson signing off. And honestly, it sounded like he got a little emotional for a second. You know, that's just how business works sometimes. But that group really managed to create something special together. I'm sure it wasn't easy watching the original crew that helped build the whole thing start moving in different directions. So naturally, there's going to be some nostalgia attached to the situation. You dig what I'm saying? Joe pretty much made it clear that their contracts had come to an end. My guy already has another opportunity lined up, and while he was thankful for everything they accomplished together, it was simply time for everybody to move forward. You understand what I'm saying? Now they're having to make changes behind the scenes, reworking the lineup, figuring out the budget, and deciding what this next chapter is going to look like. And based on everything we've already seen, we've gotten an early glimpse at the direction this show appears to be heading moving forward.
Welcome back to Gil's Arena presented by Underdog. I'm Brandon Jennings, and I'll be your host this evening. We got one of the biggest legends in sports media game. Sitting next to me, Skip Bayless is in the building. Sitting next to him, joining him is NBA World Champ of the World, Swaggy P, Nick Young.
What? Wait, where's Nick?
We don't know.
We don't know? He'll be here.
And the man they call Cemetery Larry, NCAA Champ of the World, Rashad McCants is in the building.
Yeah. God.
How you feeling today?
Finish him!
How you feeling today? Got your Lakers stuff on? Feeling good?
Last hurrah. This is the last hurrah.
Yeah?
Figured I'd bring out the last little bit of props and take a couple souls in the process.
Yeah.
Oh man, bruh. I honestly don't know if this new version of the show is gonna be that good. Shout out to BJ though. My guy was over there reading these 2-line introductions straight from the teleprompter. Seriously, how difficult would it have been to just say, we've got 2-time NBA champion Nick Young, Cemetery Larry himself, Rashad McCants, and of course, the ultimate contrarian, Skip Bayless. Why make something that simple sound so complicated? Come on, man. I really don't have much confidence in where this show is headed. Then you have my guy walking in wearing what looked like a Thanos-inspired outfit. I guess that was his way of making one final appearance. Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting to watch unfold. But why did they even introduce Nick when he wasn't actually there? I wasn't watching the show consistently even when the full lineup was together, but now it's going to be... And did y'all notice Kenyon wasn't there either? Keep that in mind. If we're talking about a show centered around Skip Bayless and Brandon Jennings, I just don't see that combination working. I don't think that lineup is going to connect with the audience the same way. If it were up to me, I'd say they need to rethink the entire format, because this version doesn't seem like it's going to have the same chemistry or energy. But that's just how everything has played out so far, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear a lot more about this situation as time goes on. I also heard Gil talk about some of this during his appearance on Stephen A. Smith's show.
On out of here, Gilbert. Talk to me about, Gil's Arenas. What's going on, my man? Season 5, my brother. Talk to me. Let the audience know what's up.
Listen, I had to make a business decision, and I was looking at the landscape. We were doing 4 days a week, thinking we're about to turn a 5, and then another show got added, which was Gridiron Football Show with Skip, Akeem, and them, and we got bumped to 2 days. When you're trying to make progress, that's like winning a championship, and then all the starters get put to the bench, and you only playing 21 minutes, right? It didn't make sense to me, and it's like if we want to build and build, we can't play under another show on the same channel. So I had to make a business decision and move in a different
And what was
direction.
that business? And to enlighten everybody, what is that business decision that you had to make?
Moving in a different direction and starting. Anyway, let me see. In about 6 days, I will 100% own Gil's Arenas name.
Same cast of characters or different crew?
Well, the other characters are still under contract until September. So we're starting up in August. So unless they just flat out quit, I can't talk to them and I can't recruit them. I can't poach. So I got to look for a different cast of.
But honestly, that's pretty much all Gil had to say about the situation. It wasn't much, and he didn't really get into the details or give people a whole lot to break down. At this point, we're just going to have to wait and see how everything plays out. I'm pretty sure this won't be the last bit of drama we hear from either side. It wouldn't surprise me if the tension continues building, especially once Gil gets his new show completely up and running. You already know there's a strong possibility that a few subtle shots could be thrown back and forth along the way. So we'll see what happens once everybody is back in the spotlight and the reactions start coming in. Until then, that's where everything stands. I'm out.